Hello everyone, I'm Lovey and today we're going to talk about my top picks for fish that can be kept in a 10-gallon aquarium. Most of the fish on this list will be considered nano fish, but they're just as beautiful as fish of bigger size. Now, just to preface, I don't usually recommend tanks of this size to beginners, but I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to what kind of fish you can put in a 10-gallon tank. So, without further ado, let's begin.
It's Sissy. Cool.
Bettas are a lovely fish that need at least 5 gallons, but do much better in a 10-gallon aquarium. They come in lots of different colors and lots of different fin types, so no two bettas will ever be alike. You can keep either males or females, but always remember it's usually best to keep one of each of these fish in a tank. There are such a thing as betta sororities where you keep multiple females, but that is not recommended in a tank as small as 10 gallons. Betta fish are also known as Siamese fighting fish for the simple fact that if two males see each other, it's go time. They will fight until there are ripped fins and exhaustion, and this kind of stress is simply not good for your fish. Betta fish also do really well in heavily planted tanks. Plants like anubias give them a place for them to lay and rest for the night. And yes, bettas do rest and sleep on leaves. It's a really amazing thing to watch. Bettas are just a super great fish, and you should really consider getting one as a centerpiece for your 10-gallon tank. Clown killifish are really cool little fish with big stripes, and the males have very pretty tails. They need to be kept in groups of pairs, so males and females in a tank, but in a 10-gallon you could expect to keep between 5 and 7 pairs of these. Their interesting patterns and fun behaviors make them a really great addition to a nano tank. Next up is gouramis. Now when I say gouramis, I do not mean all gouramis. I mean the gouramis that stay a little bit smaller. No kissing gouramis or anything of the sort. Smaller gouramis would be sparkling gouramis, honey gouramis, and dwarf gouramis. I personally recommend a honey gourami to be kept singly as a centerpiece fish in your 10-gallon tank. Dwarf gouramis are also really great, however they are susceptible to dwarf gourami disease, and it's always very sad to lose a fish when it's no fault of your own. Sparkling gouramis are the smallest of the three, but they're also interesting and beautiful fish. Just remember to only choose one of these gourami species, and preferably only one individual in such a small tank. Otherwise, they are known to fight and fin nip on occasion. This is another type of fish on this list where I don't immediately mean all types of RASBORAS are compatible with a 10-gallon tank. What I really mean is there are several species of RASBORAS that are small enough and are considered nanofish and can be kept in a 10-gallon tank. Some of these would be, for example, a neon green RASBORA, which is one of my personal favorites. They're just so vibrant green, they really do shine like little emeralds. Another that I've had a lot of success keeping in smaller tanks are harlequin RASBORAs, which have an almost arrowhead type shape on the side of their body. They're kind of like smaller versions of the lamb chop RASBORA. If you like really little fish, there are things like the chili RASBORA, which can be kept in larger schools in such a small tank because they are very small fish. They do have bright colors though, and usually little lines and dots on their body that I just find really adorable. Keep in mind that these RASBORAs are schooling fish, so you do have to keep a group of at least 6 to 8 to keep them happy. DANIOS are an excellent fish to keep in nano tanks. My personal favorite is the celestial pearl danio, which has a dark body with light-colored spots and orange fins. They're happy in schools and they stand out really well in a heavily planted nano tank. There are other kinds of danios too, and you can keep them in a 10-gallon. However, they do get a little bit larger than celestial pearl danios, So you would be confined to keeping less of them, and in the long run, they may not be quite as happy. Also, keep in mind that Danios do prefer lower temperatures than some of the other tropical fish that you might find in a fish store, so plan the rest of your tank accordingly. Cherry shrimp, bee shrimp, and Amano shrimp are all excellent additions to any tank that doesn't have fish that like to eat shrimp. Amano shrimp will unfortunately not reproduce in your aquarium, but cherry shrimp and bee shrimp are pretty prolific breeders. They clean up algae really well off of plants in the aquarium, and they're just really fun to watch and look at. Again, you may want to plan around keeping shrimp in your tank, as there are many fish that will opportunistically go after baby shrimp or sometimes even adult shrimp. Cherry and bee shrimp also come in many different colors and patterns, and they make a great addition to most, if not all, nano tanks. Again, not all tetras are going to be appropriate for a 10-gallon, but there are a couple species I have in mind that would do really well in such a small tank. First off is ember tetras. I've kept ember tetras on a number of occasions, and I really love them. They have a great color, their behavior is really interesting and sweet, they're very peaceful, and I just love the little guys. Another good one would be red pepper tetras and green tetras. Those kinds stay small and they can be kept in manageable groups, and they really do bring a pop of color and action to your nano tank. Remember that tetras are schooling fish, so you will need to have a small group of them together of the same species to keep them happy. Pygmy cories are super cute little fish that like to be kept in groups and stay on the bottom of the tank near the substrate. They like to eat algae and uneaten food, so they do clean up a little bit in the tank as well. There may be other cory species that you could keep in a 10-gallon tank. However, I really recommend keeping the pygmy types because they stay smaller and they will be happier in the long term in your 10-gallon aquarium. Last but not least, we have guppies. No video about 10-gallon aquariums would be complete without these live bearers, which are easy to keep, bright, active, and all around really great fish. If you keep males and females, you will absolutely have fry in the tank. They come in so many different colors and even different fin types, so if you've never kept guppies before, or even if you have, consider them for a 10-gallon aquarium. You won't be sorry. Thank you for making it to the end of my video. I really appreciate it. If you have a 10-gallon at home, let me know in the comments below what you keep in it, or what you would recommend others to keep in theirs. As always, remember to love your fish. See you next time.